Welcome to Ellen's Online Sales Support, the place where we make all the mistakes in e commerce, and that way you don't have to. My name's Ellen. I am an entrepreneur, and the way I started was in 2011. I decided to turn the overabundance of a hobby supplies for a hobby that I had and turn it into an Etsy store. Well, my original idea wasn't that lucrative, um, but I still have the Etsy store and I sell a lot of different items over the years, but really the thing that started selling for me is a cotton for people making their own yarn, hand spinning cotton. Not a lot of people sell it, and I've really developed a nice niche in that area. So, welcome. Over the years, I worked with several people, and most recently, I have joined a group called Silent Sales Machine on Facebook. This is the most, it's a huge group. It's an absolutely massive group, but I have learned so much from that. They have a weekly broadcast on the group from a lady by the name of Lisa, Live with Lisa on Tuesdays, and she is the sweetest person in the world. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so more about me. I currently sell on Etsy. I sell my hand spinning supplies on Etsy. I sell on eBay, and my eBay sales range from hand spinning supplies, like I do on Etsy, all the way through to typewriters, toys, spices. I sell a lot of different things on eBay. Some of them are used. I love going to thrift stores. I love going to estate sales. I'm not as good with the garage sales as I am because I get a little impatient with garage sales. But you can find wonderful things at garage sales. So don't just because I don't do it doesn't mean that they aren't worth doing. I just I like estate sales. I like the old stuff. Somebody's old kitchen especially. Love that stuff. Anyhow, um, and I sell on Amazon. I sell new items on Amazon. Most of what I sell right now is grocery items. I also sell some used books. Books have radically changed in the last year. Um, Amazon has instituted a number of new storage policies. They're running out of space in their warehouses and they had to do something. And unfortunately, books has been one of the areas that it's been a lot of getting people get started with books, but I've never been horribly, listen to me. I've never been really super successful at it, and I really have tried to focus on grocery items. I really enjoy um, grocery items and doing that. But that's just me. Other people do records, LPs, CDs. Some people are lucky enough to be grandfathered in, and they can sell videotapes and not videotapes, but DVDs and CDs and music and in games, computer games. So while eBay generally doesn't limit you on most items, Amazon does. So once again, getting away ahead of myself. I sell all of these platforms. I've also sold on Facebook Marketplace and on Craigslist, and Facebook Marketplace actually worked out very well. I've also sold on a small site called Ravelry. If you are into yarn at all, you know what Ravelry is. For those of you the majority, who do not know what Ravelry is, it is the largest social platform for knitters, crocheters, weavers. Weavers have their own thing called Weavolution, but for the most part, most people are who deal in the fiber art seem to be on Ravelry at some degree or other. Okay, enough about me. What is e-commerce? E-commerce is the largest growing sector of the sales community right now. Um, we really know that from the early days of the bulletin boards and then eBay getting started back in the yeah, back yeah, I've been around for a while. I've been on eBay since the 90s. Unfortunately, I let that count elapse, and I really didn't start seriously selling until 2014. But I bought an awful lot of stuff on eBay over the years. Keep an eye out for spinning wheels, and yeah, I have a little bit of a collecting problem. Anyway, e-commerce includes eBay, includes Amazon, includes anybody's website, whether it's a mom and pop farm that sells honey off of a website, all the way through the Amazon, which is the largest website in the United States. eBay is second. So don't discount eBay. There's an awful lot of people who go through eBay. E-commerce is approximately 11 and at last numbers I heard 11.5% of all sales in the nation are on e-commerce sites. That's all. Everything else comes from a brick and mortar store. You going to the grocery store, you going to Target, you going to Walmart, you're going to Sam's Club, you're going to Costco. And yes, these places have websites, but believe me, from the parking lots I've seen outside of Walmart and Sam's Club and Costco, a lot of people are still going. And quite frankly, I'm not crazy about it. I've done online buying of groceries, but it's not my first choice for groceries. There's something about picking out your own peaches that just doesn't cut it with me. Personal. I'm in my 50s. Yeah. Yeah, it's me. Okay. So e-commerce is buying stuff online and having it shipped to you or shipped as a present to somebody else. What can you sell online? Oh my gosh. I've bought a propane smoker online from Amazon and it's shipped to me. The thing is, 4.5 feet tall. And, of course, the legs are about 12 inches tall. So it wasn't, like it was, but you get this big box on your porch. I've bought shelving. However, most people who sell third party, unless you've got some kind of big business, um, what you end up selling is the bits and pieces, the little things. I sell a lot of grocery items. Like I said earlier, I love grocery items. I really know spices, I know, coffee. I know tea. I know tea better than I know coffee, really, because I drink tea. Um, these are the kind of things that you really want to take a look at and things. Now, grocery is now ungated at Amazon, but I wouldn't start with Amazon. And I'll get into more of that later. But you can sell just about anything. eBay Motors is one of the biggest marketplaces for selling cars and RVs and things like that. Um, Excuse me while I turn off my phone. I just realized I hadn't put it on silent mode. Okay, how do I get started? Well, take a look around your house. Do not start out by going out and buying stuff. Go through your cabinets. Is there an appliance you no longer use? What about that juicer that's sitting on top of your cabinet? Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Take a look at eBay. There's a way, if you go into a advanced search on eBay, on the left hand side, you can select show me the sold items. And it'll show you everything that was sold within the last 3 months that match those keywords that you put into the search. So say you've got, once again, a juicer. You'll type in Hamilton Beach juicer, say it's a Hamilton Beach, and you will see how many, if there's, look through, maybe put in your model number, see your model number and that kind of information to, um, for, to say, okay, they sold for this much. What kind of shape is yours in? Is it working? Maybe it's easier to part it out and sell the individual parts rather than sell the whole thing. And shipping. Oh my gosh, shipping. Don't forget, if you can keep things under a pound shipping, think about if you can offer it for free shipping. Make your price a little bit higher and offer free shipping. Up to a pound, shipping is very reasonable at first class prices. Once you get into priority, which is what eBay likes you to use when you're, so to get it to them quickly, then it starts to cost a good bit more. And you do want to think about making it free versus charging for it, charging the individual. I find out with huge boxes that are very light that if you choose parcel select, it will take a long time to get to them, and it will go to Pennsylvania for some unknown reason, which I think is some kind of sorting facility for the eastern United States. So you can sell just about anything. I know somebody who's selling snowmobile parts and washer parts on eBay. Think about it. There's a lot of things that are in your basement, that are hiding in your garage, and I'm not talking about Beanie Babies. Beanie Babies and Precious Moments, sad to say, do not sell well. Glass, it depends on the glass and what you know. If you know glass really well, if you know depression glass, it's not selling right now. Nobody's wanting it. Our mothers who collected it are in their 80s, their late 70s, and they don't want it anymore. So if you want to collect it, this is a great time. It's not a great time to sell your mom's depression glass. So, okay, so you can sell just about anything. Yes, you can sell, and there's a lot of things that I won't sell personally, just for personal reasons I won't sell. And some things you can't sell. Used underwear, think about it, people, please. No, just say no. How do you get started on eBay? Well, if you don't already have an account, create an account. Start with a personal account. Do not set up a store yet. Get your feet wet. Get some experience. Buy a few things. Buy your shipping supplies. Because if you're selling glass, you're going to need bubble wrap and foam. If you're selling, things, you're going to need boxes. If you don't already have a pile of Amazon boxes, hint, hint. If you have Amazon Prime, you have a pile of Amazon boxes, I guarantee you. If you want to sell clothes, buy some poly mailers. Seriously, it will save you in shipping big time. Poly mailers are extremely light. They are very, very tough. Do not get the ones that have the zip strips. Make them cut it open, because what happens, it gets hang on a second. Yes, there are things that you need to do, and now I've lost my train of thought. Okay, poly mailers. Back to poly mailers. Okay, poly mailers are very tough. They're very light, and you know they're a godsend for selling clothing. If you sell clothing, which I will say this, clothing gets returns, especially women's clothing, especially shoes. Not so much with baby and kids clothing, because a lot of times with the kids they'll grow into it, and less so for men's and women's. Um, but if you do consider something like that, and if you're good at finding things at garage sales, that's a great thing to find at garage sales is used clothing. So get your stuff together. Use your phone camera. Seriously, yeah, I have an iPhone. However, this is probably your best camera unless you have some kind of phenomenal camera setup. That is probably your best camera. Take good pictures. Lay out a white sheet. Gets plenty of light. I have a light box. Hello, I've been doing this for a few years. I bought the light box off eBay really cheaply. Um, but what you need to do is to go in there and get some feedback on your account. Buy your supplies through there for right now. You don't need to go through Uline or Bubble Fast yet. Um, Hang on, you don't need that much supplies yet. Just buy a few to get yourself started. You don't need a huge pile. And especially if you have boxes laying around. Also, people like their stuff to arrive quickly. They are thrilled. They are sitting on the edge of their seat in some cases. They can't wait to get it. Ship quickly. Do not delay. I like to set my shipping time at 2 days. And I usually have a full time job while I'm doing this. It is very possible to do it that way. No, I'm not Superwoman. Um, Ship quickly, respond um, to people's contact information. Be very nice. Be very polite. These are things I shouldn't. I won't have to say. You're going to be nice and polite because they're looking to buy your items. Seriously, you want to sell these things. Um, and it's a waiting game. I'm just sold an item I've been sitting on for close to a year. And unfortunately, it's a piece of glass. And I happen to know glass. So it's less of a gamble for me to sell glass than for the average person to sell glass. Also, I know how to wrap this stuff. It takes a much bigger box than you would think for glass. So I've got that going. I've got that going out. Also, make sure you go ahead and set up your shipping. Set up global shipping program. Listen to me. You do not want to be shipping yourself internationally. There are some countries, especially in South America, especially in Asia, where the theft rate is incredible. I, I won't mention countries. You guys can look that information up yourself. But the global shipping program through eBay is very expensive, and you will have people try and talk you out of it. Stand your ground. Stay firm. But go into your settings and things. Once I get a program on here, I can walk you through some of these things. I've got to find the right program to do this kind of walkthroughs. Um, Garage sales, Facebook Marketplace. A lot of people post on Facebook Marketplace. Some people will still post on Craigslist. Sometimes the best thing to do is on Friday just drive around. On the iPhone, and I can only speak for the iPhone. I can't speak for Android. There are apps for finding garage sales. There are apps for finding estate sales and auctions. thrift shops. Depends on your thrift shop. Seriously. Some Goodwills are really great. I just picked up a pasta machine, which I'm probably keeping for myself, uh, for $5. It's missing parts, of course, and I can get those. That's not a problem. Also, there are there is an app for finding estate sales. Okay, back to thrift stores. Switching gears again. Sorry about that, people. Thrift stores. I love Salvation Army. We also have several private ones. There's some private ones you go in and say, do they want to really sell items? And then in other cases, you go through and like, wow, it's Tuesday. It's 50% off Pink Tax Day. Time for me to seriously look at some of this stuff and hopefully and look and ask if you don't see an outlet. Check your appliances and make sure they're working. Some things you can't, like the urn that's still sitting in my kitchen, I need to test and put vinegar through because it needs vinegar. It was a coffee urn. It needs vinegar and it's very cool looking. So I hope it sells well on eBay. But you need to process everything. You need to take pictures. You need to take multiple pictures. You need at least 3 pictures if you can do it. Some of the things I sell, 3 pictures is overkill. You know, white wool roving looks like white wool roving. You have far away and you have a close-up, and that's it. Let me talk just shortly about Amazon. In the beginning, you do not want to jump into Amazon. The problem with people think, I'm going to buy a container of cameras and then from China and sell them on Amazon. That is a good way of losing your shirt. Jim Cockrum, who I will be mentioning in a minute, would love to have a nickel for every person who's contacted him saying, I have a garage full of what he calls widgets. How do I sell them? Don't do that. Test everything. But I wouldn't start with Amazon at all. It's hard. You really do need some learning, some experience before you get into Amazon. And I will be talking about Amazon. I cannot recommend Jim Cockrum's pack. It's called the Proven Amazon Course. There's an affiliate link below for it. If you want to jump in both feet into things, nice. What I do recommend you starting with is a class called Buy Local, Sell to the World. Nathan and Jeff know what they're talking about. Nathan's in Utah. Jeff is in northern Indiana in the middle of cornfields. Both of these guys are awesome. Absolutely awesome. There are things Nathan's doing that I would have never thought of. And if I had the capital, I would be doing hands down. Absolutely hands down. They will give you some real good information on albums, on garage sales, on auctions. But like I said, I'll have an affiliate link below for things that. I'll also have a link below how to join My Silent Team. And I'll put a link to the Sorcerer's Apprentice, which is Jeff's group. Jeff Clark is his name, and he is the Sorcerer's Apprentice here on YouTube. Hey, I'll put the YouTube link too. That won't hurt. Take a look at what he does. He's like, I need to go buy a stove. While I'm here, let me see what else they have for sale. So see if I can make enough money to pay for the stove. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. So thinking ahead, I'm going to put the links to this courses. No pressure. Take a look, see if it but either get involved with Jeff's group or get involved with My Silent Team. They're both free. They're both Facebook groups. My Silent Team is a can be overwhelming. Jeff's group goes a lot slower. So, but helpful, no questions, dumb. Um, you may not get. There are moderators on there that are looking for newbies. They're looking for these things, and you'll be welcomed with open arms. I guarantee you that. They welcomed me with open arms back in 2015 when I started looking at selling on Amazon. And I will be back. Like I said, I will wanting to get into a little more defined things, Also, leave me comments. Tell me what you want to hear. Do you want to hear about Amazon? Do you want to hear about eBay? What do you want to hear about these platforms? What about thrift stores? What about going there? What about banking? You think about it. I'm still at the point where I haven't set up an LLC. That's my next step. But I want to get a little more steady income in before I take that plunge. So, once again, this is Ellen, and I welcome you to my channel. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.